As Russian troops continue to push towards Kyiv, many countries, including India, are now evacuating their nationals still stuck in the war-torn region. Now, according to sources, Indian government is likely to send some union ministers to Ukraine's neighboring countries to coordinate the evacuations of stranded Indian nationals. This came after Prime Minister Modi chaired a high-level meeting earlier today. As per reports, these ministers will be going as special envoys of India to these countries, along with Air India. Two more airlines, Indigo and SpiceJet, will now assist in the evacuation process. Late last night, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi held another emergency meeting with top government officials to discuss the latest developments in Ukraine. During the 2-hour-long meeting on Sunday, Prime Minister Modi emphasized that safety and evacuation of Indian students will be the top priority of the government. He also outlined the government's efforts to extend cooperation with Ukraine's neighbors to speed up the evacuation process for Indian nationals stranded in Ukraine. The evacuation process has been severely affected after Ukraine closed its airspace following the Russian invasion on Thursday last week. Indian government has since then stepped up its efforts to find alternative routes to bring out the Indian nationals from the war-torn nation. Over the last few days, students have been evacuated on flights from Hungary, Poland, Slovakia and Romania under a rescue mission named Operation Ganga. These are the countries that share border with Ukraine. Thousands of people have already taken shelter in these bordering countries since the Russian attack. Prime Minister Modi has already spoken to Russian President Vladimir Putin, where he reiterated India's call of diplomacy and dialogue. He also called for immediate cessation of violence to prevent further escalation. Prime Minister Modi also spoke with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky, where Zelensky briefed Prime Minister Modi on the ongoing situation in Ukraine. During the talks, Prime Minister Modi expressed his deep anguish over the loss of life and property due to the ongoing conflict. Our principal diplomatic correspondent, Sidhant Sibal, sent us this report from New Delhi.
What has happened today morning here in Delhi is another important meeting which is chaired by the Indian Prime Minister, and all hands are on the deck. That means that India is sending four top ministers, Kiren Rijiju, VK Singh, Jyotiraditya Scindia and other ministers. And these ministers will be going as special envoy of the Indian government to these countries and help in the coordination efforts on the ground at the border. This is a significant message by New Delhi that when it comes to its students, its people, it will do its best to make sure that they come back. But other than that, of course, diplomatically, the Indian External Affairs Minister has been engaging with the foreign ministers of these countries. And it's just not the western border, it's also the eastern border as well, where, of course, the fighting continues. There are students there in cities like Kharkiv. We know that a team has been sent from the Indian mission in Moscow to the Russia-Ukraine border to facilitate any kind of problems they are facing. So this is an entire measure which will take a long time, but nonetheless, when it comes to diplomacy, that is something that India is emphasizing on. In fact, yesterday, the Indian Foreign Secretary had called on the Russian envoy and the Ukrainian envoy here in Delhi and separately talked about the issue regarding the Indian nationals.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.